Hi guys, welcome back to this special series on building 7 use cases of machine learning on Android. Till now we have installed Android Studio and we have also built and compiled our Hello World app and run it on an emulator or a virtual device. So if you are stuck on any of these steps, please use the Discord channel to ask your doubts, clarifications or any more questions, and we'll be more than happy to help you. If you are more interested in learning Android with Kotlin, I have a free detailed course on my YouTube channel. Please do check it out. Now in this video, we are going to start a new project and we are going to handle the storage permissions which are necessary to access the images in the user's phone. So let's begin. So maybe let's keep the emulator behind. If your studio is open, if your studio is not open, please do open it and go to File and do a new project. Now once we are in the new project, again like before, we'll just choose under phone and tablet the empty activity, and we can write here ML series demo. Just keep everything same as last time and finish. So you can see it has created the new project and has started building it. So we can close our old Hello World app and just free up some processor. Okay, so our new app is ready. We have the main activity like last time, and we also have the layout file which will have the Hello World text. So this is our layout. The first thing I'll do is select the Hello World text view and then click delete to remove it. Now what we'll do is we'll pull a button here and we will just pull these arrows from left and right to the respective corners and one to the top. So don't worry much about it. So what we are doing here is we are adding constraints to this button which was added to this view. So we are telling the button and the view that the constraint on the left and the right side should be the same, which means that the button will automatically get centered. And the constraint from the top of the parent to the button top should also be 0. So we'll just change it to 60 so that the button comes a little down, and we will leave the ID as is. And if you select the button and you are in the design view and you have this attributes tab open, sometimes it is closed, so you can just click here to open it and then go to text, and then we just right here go to image activity. So this is the first thing that we will do. So I'm just renaming the button. What next thing we'll do is we'll come back to main activity. So this is the code, this is the Java code that we are writing. So the layout and the activity are already linked because as soon as the main activity is launched, it will set the layout to that layout file and Android will render that UI. So we're just going to add a new public method on click, which has one parameter view. So maybe let's change it to on go to image activity. So this is what the button will do. So view is like the super type of all view classes in Android. So the text view, edit text, buttons, all image views, everything extends from view. So that is why we have the view class here as the parameter, so that this method can be used as a click listener. So what is happening is we will just go to activity main, go to code, and we will add an Android on click, and then Android itself will give an option to add that method that we have just created. So you can see the method that we have created in the main activity is already linked here. So as soon as this UI is launched and somebody clicks on that button, this method will get called. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I will, in this left pane, right click on the package, and I'll create one more package called helpers. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to create some helper activities. So if you see, we are planning to have 4 activities that all depend on image analysis. So we have the image classification, flower detection, object detection, and face detection. So all these 4 uh, use cases depend on handling images which can come from either the gallery or the camera. So we'll create a helper class which will be extended by all these 4 use cases, so we don't have to write that same code again and again. So I will just create a new activity here for now. So I'll just create a new, so right click on helper, new, and then activity, and then empty activity, and this would be my image helper activity. And I just leave everything as is. So Android itself will create a new activity for us. So this is ready. Now what I'm going to do is, as soon as the button is clicked, I will tell the Android to go to this new activity. So one thing more to notice is that as soon as we added the activity, the studio will create an entry in the manifest. This will tell the phone that this app consists of 2 activities. One is the main activity, the first activity that is launched, and the second one, the image helper activity that we have just created. So we might have to import some of the classes or code. So R stands for resource. So all the resource under this res folder gets mapped to this class. So if you see, we have 2 layouts, activity main and activity image helper. So if I do layout dot, I will get 2 options, activity main and activity image helper. There might be some more classes which come from the base Android, but as soon as we add our layouts, they will all end up under r.layout. So let's just go back to main activity, and we will start the image helper activity here. So how we start a new activity in Android is by using the intent class. We tell Android that we intend to do some action, which in this case is starting the new activity. So in this intent, we will pass the parameters which are required for Android to know, okay, that we are trying to launch that particular activity. So more on this little later, but for now, intent is just used to communicate an action to the system. So the first parameter is generally the context or the caller context, and then the next parameter is the class of the activity that we are trying to launch. So image helper activity dot class, and then we tell the system that you need to start an activity with this intent. So this is the code that is required to go to that next activity. So let's run it. Let's bring back the emulator. Okay, so our new app is running now, and you can see that the button that we added is there on the top. It is centered horizontally because we gave equal left and right constraint, and it is at a little distance from the top because we gave that 16 pixel constraint. So as soon as I click on this button, it will take me to this new activity. Now this new activity is empty, so you don't see anything here, but you can see that the communication or the link between these 2 activities is now active. So as soon as I click on the button, I will go there, and if I click back, I will come back to the main activity. Now the next thing that we need to do is to learn how to handle permissions. Now there are different types of permissions in Android, basically classified under normal and dangerous. So normal permissions are something like internet and Bluetooth, which everybody gets. So every app almost today needs internet to function. So Android provides internet without asking the user whether the app needs internet or not, whether to allow the app to use the internet on your phone or not, because it assumes everybody needs internet. But access to your photos, your contacts, the camera are restricted. So these are all dangerous permissions, and Android now restricts the apps from using them without informing the user. So if I want to access the images in the Android phone on which the app is installed, I will first need permission from the user to access them. So how do we do it? So we have a method called request permissions, which takes an array, because you can request for multiple permissions, and then you need to write manifest dot permission dot the exact permission. So the permission that we require here is the read external storage, which means that we are asking the user to grant access to his gallery or to the entire storage, which can include his downloads, his gallery, photos, music, videos, everything, because Android does not grant you specific permissions only for photos or videos. We get permission to read each and everything. So we can actually, with this permission, the app can actually read all the files which are there in your app. So that is why when this pop-up comes, the pop-up says access to files and not photos. So this method of asking for permission started with Android Marshmallow or Android version 24, I think. And if your app is below 24, Android will automatically grant you this permission. So we are going to execute this code only if the current build or if the current device is greater than or equal to M. So how to do that? So if build dot version dot stk int, which is the number, is greater than or equal to build dot version codes dot M. Okay, so now we will only execute this code if the version of the current device or emulator is M or more than M. Okay, so one more thing before we actually run and test this code is that we need to define the same permissions that we are planning to ask the user in our manifest, so that the Play Store can check this manifest and tell the user what all permissions this app might require. So go to manifest, which is under app manifest, Android manifest, and then outside the application tag and after the manifest tag, add users permission, and then the same permission that we have used inside our code, read external storage. Now let's run the app and see. Okay, so the app is running, and as soon as I click on go to image activity, you can see that the code to handle the permission is executed, and you can see the pop-up says photos and media, because we are asking for the full external storage, so we will have access to everything. So let's not do anything and kill the app. So there are many scenarios surrounding these permissions. The first scenario is so whenever you come to this piece of code, the user might have already granted you this permission. So in that case, you don't need to bother him again, because if you execute this code, Android will again show the pop-up and tell whether you want the app to continue using this permission. And then the user might think the permission is more dangerous and he might also deny it. So let us just add some code to check whether the permission is granted or not. So check self permission, the same permission, manifest.permission.read external storage, not equal to. So only if we don't have the permission. So only if the permission is not granted, we are going to request for this permission. So the next question that comes is, how do we know whether the permission is granted or denied? So to handle the scenario, to actually know whether the user has granted or denied us the permission, we have this callback call request permission result. Okay, so you can see the parameters here, the request code, the same integer number that we passed in the request permissions, and the array of permissions and the grant results. So these grant results are also numbers which will map to these, whether the permission is granted or denied. So let me search. So permission denied is -1 and granted is 0. So here we can actually print. So log is used to print the debug logs in the console or in the logcat while you want to debug the app. So okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just logging in the callback whether what was the result, whether it was 0 or 1 or -1, and for which permission. So let us run it again, and this time let's open the logcat. So logcat is where you will see all the logs. So whatever you print using log.d will come up here. You can even filter the logs to only show the logs for your application, and then you can even have regex or other expressions to filter the logs even more. So let us use this clear logcat button to clear all the logs, and I've launched the image helper activity, and now once I click allow, you can see that the log was printed, and grant result for the permission that we gave, read external storage, is 0. So 0 stands for granted, -1 is denied. So now the user has granted the permission. One way to confirm is by going to settings. So if you long press on your app icon and select app info, and now if you go to permissions, you can see that we are allowed files and media, which means that we have the read external storage permission. Now this permission is now enough for us to select images from the gallery and then start processing them. So in the next video, we will see how to start this processing, how to get the image, how to start the intent where we ask the user to select one single image and then get it back and then use it for processing. Hope you are liking these videos. If you have any concerns, comments, clarifications, doubt, please use the Discord channel or the comments in this video and let us know how you feel about this series. Thank you for watching.